Hey, hello, MLFers, and welcome to a very live of the Midlife podcast. Tracy is on vacation, although knowing her, she may pop in here or there. But I have a really special guest, my new friend, Romy Shore. Romy, welcome to the Midlife podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yay. This is my first podcast, everybody. So be kind to me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm so excited to have you. So I just want to give everybody a little background, which just is part of like the delight of midlife, I think, is that you and I are new friends because our sons, who kind of barely knew each other, decided to live together for their freshman year of college. Um, so
Which is crazy. Yeah. And you and I just hit it off right away, as did the boys. And they're living the
totally.
time of their life.
They are absolutely living the time of their life. So you're my second roommate, mom, my second roommate in law. So I think I had a little more experience going in than you do. I got really lucky now 2 times. So hopefully the third one's a charm too. And I think that there's when you're making new friends in midlife, there's kind of maybe a little, not a dance, I don't want to say, because I think you and I are romantic, but it's like, like here I am and I am open and I'm going in with the mindset that we are going to get along. And I feel like you did that too. Like, we're going to make it work for the boys. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, we're grown-ups, right? We've been
Yes.
there, done that. And I just feel like at this phase, you just are who you are. And, of course, we get along regardless, but we happen to click too. But at this phase, it's like no apologies. You keep it real.
Yes. And then do you ever meet though people that are still under like the pretense, right? And you're just like, I can't do this.
Yes. It's so funny. I was out with my best friend last night and we were talking about this very thing. And
Mm.
it's just, yeah, like I just don't want to put on those masks anymore,
Mm-mm.
right? At this phase, this is me, warts and all. And I break up with some people. My circle, when I was
Mm.
younger, the circles were bigger. For me, I
Yes.
feel the circles are smaller and deeper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, I think you get to make those choices in midlife too. Like, who helps you be your best person? Who doesn't? Who needs more negativity in their life? Like, who brings positivity? Who's rooting for you? Um, and
It's
that's
funny it's funny that you say that too, because I feel like who I am as a woman and as a businesswoman, I love elevating other women. Like, I'm
mm,
excited, like, I'm part of a group of midlife influencers, and, like, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna coach someone after this because she's gonna be going live for the first time, and I'm just about, like, if I make you better, it makes me better. It's not competitive, it's
yes,
collaborative.
totally. I know I feel that too. Like, the competition is just weird and dumb, and nobody wins. And I mean, I think you're the same way. Like, I take joy out of helping other people. It's joyful for me to have known that I've made a difference for somebody, or made somebody feel good, or told somebody something, like taught them something they didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It feeds my soul, right? Like,
Absolutely.
that's honestly why I started my platform years and years ago, and always have been this person. It's like I love that a small thing or a big thing that I share with somebody else can elevate them and improve their life in some way. Like, I love
Yes.
that.
Well, and so let's talk about your business a little bit, and what I find amazing. So I'm just gonna be super honest with you. So when Aiden said, "Oh yeah, I'm living with this kid Shaden, and his mom is an influencer," and when you hear that word, I think there's a lot of baggage attached to that word,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Okay. So of course, curiosity got the best of me, and I will tell you the two first thoughts I had. So first, you go to somebody's page, like your Instagram page, and you have over 117,000 followers. Now, you and I both know a lot of people that have a lot of followers, and you're like, look, you can buy those followers, you can play all sorts of games to get followers. The real proof in the pudding is engagement. And so I start to look at your posts, and your posts have like 4,000, 5,000 likes, hundreds of comments. And I was like, wow, I was so impressed. I'm like, this lady's the real deal. So of course I started stalking your page, because naturally, why wouldn't I? And I'm like, wow. I mean, you just talk about unapologetic. Like, you're just there. You're like, this is who I am. It's all helpful. It's good tips. There's like such a kindness and a sweetness of you that comes across. And I know that's why people are like, yeah, I want to listen to Romy. I want to listen to her advice. And I just, I was really impressed with
Oh,
what you've been able to build. And so I'm wondering from your perspective, like, why did you start it and how did it get that big? Like, when did you know it was legit?
yeah. Thank you for that. That means the world to me. Yeah. I mean, I would say just before I tell my story, like being that authenticity, like this girl who got ready in about what 1 minute for camera today.
Oh, let's
This
just
is
stop
me.
with that. So yeah, let me just back up a little bit. So Remy comes on and I just see an R. And I'm like, oh, hey, are you not coming on? Like, no pressure. Whatever you need to do is fine by camera. She's like, oh, I didn't know that I needed to. I'm not camera ready. Literally 3 minutes. She goes, I'll be right back. It comes back like this. And Tracy and I always joke like that's a great thing in midlife. Like you can get it together pretty quick when you need to.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. This is
So
yeah,
here you
no
are, camera
makeup. And
ready.
I have lipstick on and extensions, but anyways, so authenticity is really what I'm about. And so basically, the story is probably since I was like 12 years old, going way back because I'm in my mid 50s. I loved beauty and I would collect like little bottles of perfume from the makeup counters. And I remember my grandmother giving me little teeny Avon lipsticks, which by the way, Avon is a client to this day, which is so radical, which is amazing. And anyways, I loved getting beauty products, and I'd give my friends samples and I'd pass it out. And as I got older, like, where are you getting your hair done? Where do you get facials? Where should I go to eat? Like, this is just who I was. Like, my best friend from middle school, junior high is like, you were born to do this. Like, I really have always been an influencer.
Right.
And
The internet
so
just needed to catch up to you.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
this is really like this is a dream job. So I was one of the early adopters, right? So I started my platform about over 16 years ago when like the dinosaurs roamed social
Yeah.
media and whatnot. And I started with a blog, which I still have, which as a matter of fact, I'm going live on Sunday. I like just redid it. So
Mm.
sort of have neglected that a little bit because social media has taken the forefront. But yeah, started 16 years ago, started with the blog for the first few years. It wasn't monetized. It was kind of the days of the mommy blogger where the
Mm.
mommy bloggers were talking about motherhood. I was talking about facials and skincare products and hair and all that sort of stuff. And then I started on Twitter. Twitter was my very first love. And that was
Well,
amazing.
wait a
That
second. Like, I don't think about Twitter as a place for a beauty blogger.
Yeah, because it wasn't visual, but that's where early influencers went. That's where we went to connect. Like if we needed to
Ah,
connect with a
interesting.
brand, I'd like raise my Twitter hand, so to speak, and be like, okay,
Mm.
what brand out there has, I don't know, this active or is this SPF, and like the response and the engagement was. If you think Instagram engagement's good, Twitter was like beyond when it was at its heyday. It's
Mm.
different now. There's a less politicized and whatnot, but so yeah, Twitter for many, many years, a few years. And then like, let's see, probably like 12 years ago was whenever Instagram started, like I got on within maybe 6 months or something.
Wow.
So it was easier, truth be told, it was easier when I started to grow an audience because there wasn't
Mm.
as many people and it wasn't this trendy thing. And, unfortunately, like you said, there's a lot of fake influencers. There's a lot of people who just want free stuff. There
Mm-hmm.
is, as you know, with any job, there's so much work, so much work that goes behind it.
Well,
And
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 that's
the
and that's the
negative,
thing is like you. This is a job for you. Like you see that.
yeah,
I see you working your ass off.
yeah, yeah.
You're
It
not
is a
just.
job.
It's
And it's
this isn't like a
24/7.
vanity play. Yeah, this isn't a vanity play for you. This isn't. Yeah, I get it. You see that.
No, and, like, interesting, like, my husband, who is my photographer, became my photographer during the pandemic. Sometimes I hire videographers and photographers, but anyways, long story short, he was sick last week, and, like, I had a whole slate of content that I couldn't do. Yes, I can do with a ring light but, pictures are hard to take on your own and if it's not selfie. Anyways, so there's just so much work and it's 24/7. So boundary setting, I have become really good probably over the last handful of years. I shut down professionally unless absolutely necessary, like on Friday night at 5 or 6 or 7, whenever I am my day. And then I don't restart till Monday. I really don't accept work on weekends. But in the past, I did, and a lot of influencers keep it going. I may post socially, but the boundary setting is a very big challenge when you work from home. So,
Yeah. Well, and I think that idea that this is a professionalized business for you
Yes.
I think that comes through too, because I mean, listen, we all fall into the scroll, and sometimes, like, this is a terrible thought, but I'm just going to say it unapologetically. Sometimes I'm embarrassed for women our age, what they're doing on the internet. Like, I kind of cringe for them. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's a truth.
Yeah.
But,
Real.
but I mean, it's like, when somebody's doing something that feels authentic to them, that they're telling the truth and they're not just shilling
Yeah.
for something. I think about like uh, the video that you and Doug just did for ARP was so adorable, right? Because I think like my first reaction when I got my ARP envelope was like, fuck you, right? Like,
Right.
no. But I think that you're changing the narrative. I think Tracy and I are also trying to change the narrative of what it means to be on midlife, um, and what that can look like.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like two old, fogies like doing a video for art. Like, you guys are hip and fun and cute, and like it was adorable. And I think that that's such an important element that you bring to women in midlife. And I think that's why people are attracted to you, because we're showing people a different way to live this next chapter. Like, does that feel true for you?
Yeah, I love that thought of changing the narrative. I think that's exact that's my strength. Like I hope most days I don't look, what would be considered midlife, my age. Hopefully I look more youthful. And I love that. Yeah, like my perception also of AARP was like white-haired old fogies, and
Mm-hmm.
they reached out to me and some of my peers, and that piece of content has done particularly well because it was just us being us, which
Yes.
actually gave birth to a new platform that my husband and I are just starting, which is called Passport to Midlife, which we're going to try to build and focus on empty nest travel, travel and midlife travel and whatnot, because we have this fun banter and we're authentic. And I think people need to see that, like the real us that aren't, gray haired and all wrinkled and, walking with a cane or whatever. No disrespect to that. That's all good. But I think today's 50 is very different than, 20 years ago.
For sure. And so it's funny that, so I have like my pregame before every podcast, even with Tracy every week, we could talk for 24 hours straight. It would be fine. Is I always have these conversations in my head ahead of the time that we're going to talk. And so one of the things that you and I talked about this morning while I was getting ready, and I'm so glad you brought it up, was changing the narrative of empty nesting. Because when the boys first went off to school, and now I was watching you on Instagram, and you guys were having the best time, and Dave and I still have a little person at home, and Dave was like, they're everywhere. I'm like, yeah, they are. And then Dave and I had the experience that, well, of course, the two big boys are away at school, and the little guy had a school trip for 2 nights. Dave and I had the fucking time of our lives, and I was just thinking, why do people complain about empty? Glad that we are going to change that narrative. I feel like it's one of those things that women do to each other. Like, if you don't feel badly that your kids left, then maybe you're not a good mother. Like, maybe you have to express this sadness, or maybe you haven't done a good job of preparing for that time where they're not in your house all the time. So let's get it together, ladies, and let's
Yeah.
be ready for that moment, because you guys are having a blast. I mean, you've been to Spain recently. You guys are going all over, and it
Yes.
looks like a lot of
And,
fun.
and a huge passion of ours is travel, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely a priority, whether domestic or international. But yeah, I mean, I was sort of ready. I only have one, and I was ready for him to launch. And I've never been like the mommy guilt type of person. Like, I don't know. I
Nobody should be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just my attitude. Like he's doing his thing and we're doing our things and embracing that. But yeah, I feel like a lot of moms, especially, it's like it's just heartbreak. I mean, it also has to do with I think how attached you are to your kids, right? And how much freedom you give them. Like we have given our child a lot of freedom and independence. So this has happened slowly over time. It wasn't like I have some friends that hold on so tight that
Yes.
when their kid goes away, it is traumatic. So for me,
Yes.
he's broken away progressively, so it wasn't like culture shock.
Yeah. I've always said that, like, motherhood is the one job that if you do a good job, you work yourself out of that job. Like, they're ready to go, they're able to go, you're ready to let go. Um,
Yeah.
not that you don't miss them, or that drop off for me is, always tough, or like leaving them at the airport, but it takes me about 2 seconds to recover and be like, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be. And I've got other things going on.
I gotta give
So,
you a shout out because you are an awesome mom. I see how you parent, and I'm so appreciative to have met you. I love ho our the relationship with our boys, and I love that you're, like, in the inside track of helping me, handhold with things we need to do for, prepping for college storage at the end of the first year, things like that. But you, I marvel at how you parent, and you have 3. Like, you just I don't know, you have a really, from my side, it looks like kind of relaxed and on top of things.
aw, thank you. The relaxing has happened over time. I will tell you that. And also, I've gone, I've done this before, right? So
Yeah.
I did it with my eldest, and now I'm doing it again. So I love to share again, like whatever it is. If you can help somebody make their path a little bit smoother, why wouldn't you? Um, and I look at parenting like I just want to make it easy for my kids. Like, how weird would it be if I was just helping my kid and not your kid if I had some information or doing something? Like, how shitty would that be?
I agree. I agree, but some people are like that. Yeah, because again, you and I are about I think who we are probably inherently and at this phase in our lives. It's about the give back. It's about
Yes.
and how can we support and make each other better. Not that like I mean, I just think when I'm in my 20s and even early 30s, it was like the camera was literally focused on me and what I
Mm,
needed. Now it's more like what does the world need? What do my people need? What do other women like me? Right now, it's about my community. I think this midlife
mhm,
like you said, changing the narrative. Like, and what's really cool, like I get to work with such amazing brands doing what I do because I have been on the landscape for a while, so they find me. And like, there's one brand that I just it has been groundbreaking recently. It's Laura Geller Beauty,
mm,
and what I love is they're a brand that is really changing the narrative. They've reinvented as a brand, and they're showing like Paulina Poroskova, who is a model from the 80s who has a large Instagram following. She goes makeup free, but they're all about they work with a lot of us women. It's just about like a quick splash of great makeup and just being your authentic self. And this is so cool. They have last year was the first time they have I don't even know if you knew this. They I don't know who you apply to. Let's just say the Ethernet or whatever. They applied to have a day and it's International Mature Women's Day that they
mm.
got approved, and that's going to be on April 9th. And a lot of us are going to post content, but they're all about like changing that narrative, which I think
Yeah.
is so cool.
Well, so a freedom that I feel in midlife, and tell me if you agree with this too, is I'm not trying to be younger. I'm not trying to look like I looked when I was 20. I'm not trying to like turn back the clock. I'm just trying to be the best me that I am right now and feeling super good about that.
1,000%. I mean, yes, I do, I have since I was 16, I take obsessive care of my skin.
It
I do
shows.
treatments and a little Botox, but I don't want to look 20. I want to look
Yeah.
50, but fresh. I just want to look
Yes.
fresh and healthy and like I'm seeing myself on camera now. I'm like, not bad for 55, it's like with no makeup. But this is me. And
Yeah.
also to that point, I think something that does happen because you said you cringe at some people's content online, a lot of editing happens, right?
Mm.
A lot of, and then you see, sometimes for fun, I'll use a filter and I'm like, God, why is the puffy lips and the whatever you want to call it, the gaunt look? I have some friends doing, Ozempic now. That's a whole
Oh,
thing. Yeah. And it's just all of that that just doesn't look real. This is you're real, I'm real. I think we need to be those role models for like the next generation.
yes, I agree. And in doing that though, it's not like I don't have my insecurities about it, right? Because like, you know, I'm working so hard on getting my skin back. I mean, part of it's my complexion, part of it's that I spent my entire life, playing sports outside and sun damage and what have you. And you can't help but look at yourself, and I think I pick myself apart. Sometimes it's hard for me to show up on cameras. I kind of find that inspiring too, that you're just like, whatever. You're on
Yeah.
camera all the time, and I make Tracy do it.
Yeah.
She's happier doing it than I am, but that's like a challenge for me. Is I really want to get over that and just show up. Like, who cares?
But
Who's
you look
looking?
like so many women out there who have a freckle or a wrinkle or whatever, and I
Yeah.
think that's important for women to see that. And like I do, like when I do get these treatments, I'm showing like my bloody face or whatever. Like there's stuff that
Yeah,
goes on behind, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I think, different people, and it's genetics too, right? It's
totally.
genetics. It's all of it. And if you were, the sun is really, it's the worst enemy. So, I diligently, even on a rainy day, I wear sunblock,
Mhm.
I think that makes the difference too. But you look gorgeous. But again, that's your story to tell, that's
Yeah, totally. And I'm just saying, like, honestly, like, that's one thing that's hard for me to show up a lot, like as much as you do or as much as Tracy's able to. But that's you'll as I grow, you'll all see it. I'll be out there more. So I'm using you
And
as
that's why you're friends with
inspiration.
me. Like, I think you and I've talked about this, and we certainly can talk off camera, but I can make recommendations of things that can help with that journey of yours. So
Well,
we can talk.
thank you. I look forward to that. We do have a dinner date this weekend. And
Yes.
since you guys are way more fun than we are, you got to pick the place.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
okay, so people send you stuff, you get things to try, people are paying you to promote things, but like, what are your favorite, honest to goodness things for the audience today? Like, what are the things that you think are just magical?
My favorite subject. But what I do want to say is, so my platform, those of you that are just joining in or listening to this at a later date, uh, I'm Romy Raves on Instagram. And when I set this platform up 16 years ago, I only decided to rave, not rant, right? So
Mm.
the stuff, the negative stuff, and I do not love everything, truth be told, but I tell brands offline. Like if something gave me a reaction
Oh, that's
or
awesome.
a product didn't work, I'm happy. Before I did this, I did focus groups and feedback was key. So I do give them the feedback, but then I won't post about something that I don't authentically believe in. So where I do a lot of sponsored content, but I also do a lot of, just sharing stuff. And I only share stuff that I feel positively about. The stuff I don't is I just keep that negative offline. There's too much negative out there. Now there are people who've made a platform of ranting and I just don't. So
Yeah.
the stuff you see me talk about, especially if I talk about it regularly, is the wow stuff. So okay, so what are some things and products I believe? Well, one thing, it's not a product, is I feel really strongly about lash extensions. I feel like they make you look, now again, I am wearing them, but I do a dramatic eye. You can do a natural. I think that makes a huge difference in freshness or whatnot. It's a high maintenance thing. And I also believe in tattooed brows. Because again, 2 minutes I got ready. So but let's talk product specific. So one, I'm going to talk like expensive products and not expensive, because some people
Do
have
it.
big budgets and some people have small budgets. Okay. So one product I love is by Pixie Beauty.
Mm.
It's called Glow Tonic. You can find it. There's a great Pixie store here in LA if you're in LA, but they have it at
It's even a
Target.
Target, right? Yeah.
The Target, and it has a little bit of glycolic acid, and it's a beautiful toner. Have turned so many people onto it. It's not expensive, and you could use it every day, and it just lightly exfoliates your skin and freshens your skin. Super great product, super affordable. Another, this is like a little side. People always ask me for tips and tricks. So this is another mass product that, like, it's an acne product actually that
Oh, I
I
need
use.
that right now. Jesus,
Right.
what the hell is happening?
Oh my
Yes.
god. I'll get to that in a second, but this is I think it's still on the market, or maybe change it. It's called Stridex. They are
Mm.
any wipe that has salicylic acid in it and maybe a
I think they have
glycolic.
benzoyl peroxide too in it. Don't they, the
Yes, so
Stridex? Yeah.
these are pads
Uh-huh.
that what you do is, because when we get older, our feet get dry. So I will use one of those pads, not on my
Ooh.
face, but on my feet at night as a treatment, and
Mm.
put some cream, whatever lotion you have on, and some socks. And that's a little tip for like a nighttime beauty treatment.
I
So
love
an
it.
inexpensive like wipe. Okay, so now I love face oils. I use face oils a lot. Another drugstore brand that I love, it's called Lumene, Lumene, and they have this. I should have brought my products for show and tell, but
Yes.
it's a vitamin C oil water. You kind of shake it, and it's got this like
Mm.
watery oil texture. It goes right into your skin. It gives you a beautiful glow. Um, Another brand I love, now this is getting up in price and it's more professional grade. There's the best, if you ever want to get a peel, any of you, and feel free to message me and make recommendations, but it's called V-Peel, VI Peel, and they make pretty active skincare products, and they have a product with retinol in it. Retinol is still the gold standard in skincare actives, and they make a hydroquinone, which is like a brightening, gets rid of pigmentation. Those are really
Hmm.
active products. Those are in the $100 plus category, but those are also some of my go-tos. And wait,
So
I'll say one
fun.
more. One more
Yeah.
that I use a lot. It's okay. There's a brand called Color Science,
Mm.
and Color Science makes a mineral SPF. It's like a powder that you apply, which is great. And you can reapply during the day, SPF 50. And they make, I use it every day. It's called Total Eye. It's actually a sunblock concealer, but it also has like skincare actives. And I use it. That's my go-to concealer, even though it has SPF in it. Love it. It's called Total Eye. Those
All
are
right,
just
cool.
some of my
I'll be like listening to this and writing all of those down, or maybe we should send out an email with all of that. Such great tips. Yeah, so I totally believe in the eyelashes and brows. I've become obsessed with New Lastin to grow them back myself. And that
yes.
has actually been really helpful. I've seen a huge change using those in my brows and my
Great.
lashes. Yeah, so that's,
Grande Lash is also a really great, their serum, their lash growth is also same type, same thing.
yeah, yeah, no. So I think that's, it's funny, like the things I'm obsessed with looking at older women, and I'm obsessed with like what makes somebody look old. And things like, because you can see a woman who has wrinkles and whatever, but she doesn't necessarily look old. And then you can see women, I think, who have done, too much with the filler and the whatever, their facelifts, and they look older to me. So I'm kind of obsessed with that dichotomy.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
and the,
I don't do fillers like I did
yeah.
early on
Oh,
because
I
I
tried
think
it too. It didn't work. I didn't like it.
I think they look fake. But I
Yeah,
love that. And I love, yeah, what does that's an interesting, like I think, I don't know. First of all, I think attitude and happiness,
totally.
is really makes someone look youthful for sure. But as far as the aesthetics, like, yeah, I mean, I just think like, a nice lip
Mm,
and whether it's, a coat of mascara, you don't need, and I think, and I'm sure you agree that at 50 less is more, right? I don't do this
totally.
baking. Like I watch the girls, they put all this contour and all this foundation. If I wear too much foundation, it doesn't look good on
Oh,
any
I
of
look
us.
100 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
feel like it accentuates what I'm trying to get rid of.
less is more for sure. Actually, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to show you something that I've used
Yeah.
recently. This is a
Okay.
product I forgot about. So I, like a lot of midlife women, like I have this thinning here.
Yeah.
And I just started to, you can see all these baby hairs. I just
Yeah.
started to use a product called Vegamore.
Yes.
And it's a serum that I like rub
Yeah.
into these bald spots. And all of a sudden I'm seeing all this growth. And it's, I mean, like that is just over the last probably month or two. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. So that proof is in the pudding there. And I am loving their product. And I also do like a gummy vitamin, Grande's hair gummy vitamins. But I think that makes that's a product I forgot. But like I also think like thinning hair could make someone look
Totally. Well,
old. But
it's funny. I have the Vegamore and I'm not real religious about using it. And still, like, I felt like I was getting kind of thin here at my part. And I
yeah,
see it like, you talk about genetics. My mom's kind of thin there. And even sporadic use, I think, has improved. So I
it's
totally believe in that stuff too.
it's so good. Like I was like, wow,
Yeah.
you just, like I can't lie about that stuff. You can't edit that stuff in. I guess you could, but I wouldn't, So, but
Well, I think
I want to, I want to go back to that because like, what makes someone look beautiful?
But I
I
think
think,
like having lashes, having brows, having a lip, taking care of your hair, like those are all
yeah,
how you
like,
carry
I mean,
yourself,
what
like
about
even your
this trend?
posture.
But what about, yes, as I'm leaning over. What about
Yeah.
this trend of women going all gray? Like, what about
I think
that?
they look awesome.
Yeah, like I think
I
but
think it
that
looks
wouldn't have
better.
happened years ago, you know?
No, no,
I mean, I think some women can carry it way better than others, but,
yeah.
yeah. But
Well,
I love
I think when a woman's dying, it's like, I don't know, there's something about older women dyeing their hair. And I think I'm kind of sensitive to this as a redhead too. Like, although the redhead dyes have gotten much better, but it always like, I was like, people, women would always come up to me my entire life and be like, oh, I used to have hair your color too, and now I have to dye it. And I'd see these women with these like horrible reds. And I was just like petrified of what would happen. So I think that there's a fine line between what color you can dye your hair when you get older and does it look right with your skin tone. And, you know,
yeah,
yeah, I think you have to be really careful. And I think a lot of women look better and actually more youthful when their hair is healthy and gray.
yeah. Then
I
a
think it
bad
looks
dye job.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
it's about
sure.
right. I mean, we're fortunate maybe here in LA, there's a lot of great, artists and stuff. I mean, it's just going to good people, which, ends up costing money, or, dye your hair at home or let it go gray. But it's liberating that's cool now. Like
Yeah.
I love that,
So I have zero scientific basis for this, but you can't see it as I'm lucky, like I have a lot of blonde in my hair, it's gray, it's red, like it kind of all goes together. But I'm starting to get really gray here. And ever since I started taking vitamins, I swear it feels like the gray is going away and the red's coming back. I have no
Mm.
scientific basis for that,
Yeah, I
but
wonder what vitamins, because that line that I just told you, Vegamore, they came
they
out
do have
with.
a gray and ageless or whatever.
And
Yeah.
but I'm guessing that there's some sort of vitamin that helps bring the pigment back or something like that, that might be something in what you're taking.
I should compare because I have those, but they made me nauseous. I think it was, when you take a prenatal vitamin and it
Oh.
had the zinc, it would make you nauseous. I don't know if you
Well,
did that.
something else, what I'm saying, if you're
Yeah.
noticing that, it must be something else in another vitamin or supplement you're taking, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I've been taking athletic greens, just like the
Oh,
little, like liquid in the morning. And I swear, like, again, like I'm not getting paid for this, just us sharing our midlife wisdom. I feel like that's made a big difference for me in a lot of different ways. And I'm a little suspect that it's helped my hair color.
though I bet you it has. I bet you it has. And by the way, perception is,
Right?
it's the way anyways, so, that's cool. That's really cool.
Well, how about that perception just as we age? I swear that in a 30-day period, there are some like days, weeks, or whatever. I'm like, I am fucking rocking it. I look amazing. I feel so good. And literally 3 days later, I feel like I'm 100. What happened? It's like cycles back and forth.
I 1,000% agree. And I'm like on the back end of menopause, so I don't
Mm,
know if I can blame it on hormones possibly, but yeah, some days I'm like, "Oh my God, everything's going my way. I look good." And then another day I'm like, "Really?" It's totally, I
yeah,
mean, I think it's any age really, but maybe more so in midlife. I don't know.
yeah. Tracy and I jumped on the pellets, the bioidentical hormone replacement.
Yeah.
Been magical for both of us.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
I'm a
That's
big
funny you say
proponent.
that because I did the pellets for like 3 months and it was not enough difference for me to continue.
Mm,
So my symptoms other than hot flashes, and a little bit of brain fog that was about it. And when I took the pellets, he's like, "Oh, your sex drive is just going to go through the roof and your skin is going to look well, my skin looked good anyway." So it wasn't enough of a difference to continue. So I haven't, but I can always go back to it. So,
yeah.
but
Well, and I
but,
mean, that's
but
the
other
thing.
women,
Yeah.
it's a game changer.
I would just say that he, that would be
Yes.
my first no. You need to
Yes,
go to a woman who is going through it.
that's true.
Referral here in LA
Yeah.
because at least she's lived it, living it. I feel like that sharing of information is so critical.
Oh yeah, those resources for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So I think that no man has any business being an OB-GYN. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Um, because it's something so different.
Yes.
So for women that are listening, like I think you're going to continue to iterate, and I'm just wondering if you have a plan for Romy Raves. Like, what does that look like long term?
Mm, mm.
Like, do you ever think about like, are you 70 and doing this? Like, are we? I don't know.
So interesting. I mean, I just would love to continue on the path. Like it's gotten better, literally, like me, I think it's gotten better with age.
Yeah.
And I like the trajectory I'm on. I'm, still continuing to grow. I'm trying to now do a little bit of TikTok. Who knows if it did TikTok blow up? I don't think it blew up, but there was fear that it would not be allowed in the US. But I just want to continue on this trajectory and just keep inspiring women, slowly growing, having great partnerships that inspire me. Like I love when I'm going to go shoot some content or write some content and I'm like so excited, like that feeling in my stomach that
Mm,
feeds, like I only want to do at this point I want to do what feeds my soul. Yes, I need to
yes.
pay bills. I need to pay
Hmm.
bills, but I want to continue on this path. And I think, yeah, maybe. I mean, like I think there's amazing influencers in their 70s. So I mean, who knows if I mean, it could go into my 70s. I'd love that. And I'd love to just keep doing these great partnerships with brands and like maybe be a spokesperson. I do a couple of brand ambassadorships right now for there's a lot of brands that have come out that really their products focus on midlife women. Like we were talking about Target. There's a brand called Woman Nest that's menopause
Hmm.
products at Target. There's a hairline that's all about hair biology that I work with. That's geared towards aging hair. Like I just want to keep like using and sharing products like that and putting us on the map. Like just keep on the trajectory. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier, really elevating travel, midlife travel, and partnering with brands who want to send me around the world to produce content and really just share what it's like to travel as an empty nester with your mate.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think talking about your mate, I think that's another really important thing to be showcasing in midlife. I see your mate hiding in the back.
He's sneaking
Um,
in. Want to pop in and say
Sneaky.
hi or no? Probably. He says no.
But I think that also in changing that narrative, that marriage doesn't have to get stale, that you can reinvigorate relationships, that things change over time and they don't have to change for the bad, they can change for the good, and how much fun you can have with a partner, later in life. And so I think that's a great story too that you guys are telling.
Yeah, and we just have fun. I think laughter is the secret to our relationship. Like it's like he's funny as fuck, you know. He makes me laugh every day, but it's laughter, and I also think for me it's I need adventure and play. So I don't
Mhm.
like to go to the same restaurants. I don't like to go to the same you'll never catch me vacationing at the same spot every year. That's just and I know a lot of people do that and I love that, but yeah, I want to try something new almost every week, if not every day, like new restaurants, new experiences, like, I think that is what keeps life fresh. And then when we do it together, like whether we get on a plane and go across the world or get in a car and drive, an hour somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
I think that keeps you fresh as you age, and I think it helps our relationships. Then we have something new to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you use the word play. Tracy and I, like our driving business mantra is this fun? Like sometimes we're doing something where we just look at each other, we're like, I'm not having fun. Are you having fun? No, I'm not having fun. Then why are we doing this? Like, what is the point? And yeah, you say like you have to pay the bills and like you are making a living at this. But also, if there's not joy and fun out of it, pivot. Like, why get stuck?
Well, and those
Figure it
people who
out.
constantly complain, right? They complain, "Oh,
Yes.
this sucks. I work," or people. I have people in my life who think they're the only ones that work hard. "Oh my
Mm,
god, I can't do anything during the week. I work so hard." Well, I work hard too, but I guess I say I play hard. Like play, you need that balance. I think work-life
yes.
balance is really key. And as I've gotten older, it's even more important to really take that time out. Also for self-love and self, taking care of yourself and also nurturing my romantic and partner and friendships.
Yeah.
You're great. I mean, you have a wonderful circle all over the country. I saw that in action when we recently visited our boys. All of that, I think, just keeps us youthful and connected.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so one story that I'm trying to change for my children is that I don't believe in work life balance. I think that you need to understand that your work is your life. Like that's part of your life. You're spending most of your time doing that. So why would you be doing something that sucks the fucking life out of you?
Yeah, I don't understand because that's never been me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
don't understand.
it was me for sure. I had those kinds of jobs and they felt really important and I was powerful and it was lots of money and all of those things, but that is also your life.
Yeah,
So
I know.
why would you do that to yourself and
I don't
think
know.
that you can flip a switch and then like all of a sudden everything else is fun? No, it sucks
No.
everything out of you.
And I love that I always worked from home even before the pandemic, but I
Mm,
like that narrative has changed and that more people work from home than have to go to the office and they are having more of that work integrated to life balance or whatever you want to
yes.
call it. I think that's a wonderful change. Again, I had that pre-pandemic, but I think a lot of people now, the 8 hours a week they spend driving to work or whatever,
Mm,
they've got more time. They actually end up working more. I think they're, a lot of big companies especially perceive that if you're not in the office, you're not working.
right.
You know, that's not true as we know. So,
Well, that definitely changed for me. I thought it's only a real job if you like are working for somebody and you have a corporate job and you have, health benefits and a 401k. And so as I tried to reclaim some of myself in raising these children, then opening my eyes to the fact, well, wait a second, I can be productive. I can make a whole business for myself, a whole career from home was a big shift. I know that seems like obvious, was obvious to you, was not obvious to me. I was like, oh,
right.
I can still be at school pickup and feel like I have done something for my brain
That's
all day
awesome that
long.
you found however long it took, you found it.
There you go. That's how I look at it. Everything
Mhm.
happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
So I just want to open it up. Like in the chat's been kind of quiet. If anybody has any questions for Romy or any thoughts about empty nesting, traveling in midlife, beauty products, things you loved, things you hated, questions you have, please feel free to jump in that chat. We have a friend in the chat, Romy,
Oh,
somebody that we met in Indiana. So Jen Ziskin is in our chat. So
hello.
hi. Thanks for being here. It's so fun. That was actually really cute when we went to our mom's weekend for our boys pledged the same fraternity. Women were giddy to meet you. And like,
Oh,
I think just coming from LA, you're like, I was like, wait, what? But this one woman, Jen says hi. Um, this one woman like ran up to me. She's like, I've never met an influencer. And I was like, okay, well, that's just Romy.
you're just a regular woman. I mean,
It was
like,
really cute though. Like you were like superstar.
that's so fun. Like, I mean, I don't lie that I like being the center of attention, but I'm just a regular girl who just is like, dialed into a channel kind of thing. But there's someone, Vernessa said,
Yes.
once her child to get out on their own. Yeah. I mean, like the thing is you just got to be patient. Teenage years are not easy. You have 3 boys, so you can probably speak better to it than me. But yeah, those younger teenage years were tough. But coming from the other side now, having a college boy, they grow up. They are growing up. They're more appreciative. They, once they have a chance to flex their own independence muscles, I'm finding I mean, I always feel like I had an inherently good kid, but um, that stuff that you're dealing with, Vanessa, it softens, I think. It
Yes.
softens and they come more from appreciation than mouthing back. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Also, don't stand for that shit.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Right?
I mean, I do it all the time with my kids. Like, you just have to be blunt with them. Like, you want to have a good relationship, you got to be honest. Not going to say this is a proud moment, but this morning, Tyler was doing something and I asked him, hey, please stop. And he kept doing it. And I was like, you need to stop. And he kept doing it. I was like, you're being an asshole. You need to stop.
Yeah.
That's how we
I
were.
would say to my son, you're being a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. I love this uncensored thing because when I'm live on Instagram, I have to be more censored.
Or do you?
Right.
I don't
I know
know.
exactly.
Or do
Exactly. I've
you?
got, sometimes like when I've done like sexual health content, I think they shut me down like once, which is
Mm.
surprising in like, 14 years or whatever. So 12 years or however long I've been on there, but not a lot. But because now everyone posts about vibrators and all sorts of things, but it's funny what they censor. But anyways, that's a whole different
Well,
discussion.
actually, so on that note, though, so Tracy is like willing to go there, and I'm such a prude about talking about it in public.
Mm.
so, so maybe you and Tracy can have a special.
About sex? About
Yeah,
sex?
yeah.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
so
if you
funny.
knew this, Kimby, that my first career trajectory was I mean, I have a master's degree in psychology. I was going to be a sex therapist, so I'm totally
Mm,
comfortable.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll do one with her. Sure.
Yeah, no, you guys should maybe definitely do that because she's always kind of, when we talk about this, I'm like, I know we should, I just don't want to. And I know I'm being a big prude about it. I'm happy, like, we can go offline. I will talk all day long about it. But something about being in public, I just have, it's so funny because I hold myself out there like I have no filter. But the fact is, I guess I kind of do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, oh, and if we can talk about this, like another thing that I admire so much about you, like you just did an advertisement for a bra you like.
Yes.
And it was tasteful. You looked beautiful. Like it was a great picture. But that takes some balls, Romy, I think. Or
Yes.
does it?
Yes. So yeah, it's funny because Doug will shoot that content for me and he's always like, cover up, cover up. So growing up, my mom, who was overweight, growing up, very, very overweight, obese, had such body confidence and
Mm,
was so proud of her body. And so the body positivity, which before it was a thing, my mom taught me. So I've loved my body, throughout my life, I've gone up and down in weight. Always have loved my body and had confidence about it. And that still carries through today. So when I do that, like if he was if Doug didn't want me to cover up as much, I probably would have shown more. But I do those posts, and I think like a tasteful way. One time, I did a post for like a lingerie brand, and I spun an umbrella and kind of like did a peekaboo, like to kind of show a little because I have
mhm.
bumps and things, but still tasteful. So yes, I think that's part of who I am. Like, I don't think like a it's up to everyone. I don't wear like skimpy dimpy bathing suits or whatever. I wear like miracle suits that suck in things, but look, they're super like trendy, like a one shouldered, whatever,
Mhm.
but are age appropriate, I guess, whatever that means. But yeah, no, but I am comfortable in my body for sure and have been my whole life.
Well, that comes through in your posts, and they don't. I don't see that post and go, I don't have that feeling that I have for some other women, like, oh God, like you're just like totally own it. You look beautiful. You're
Mhm.
talking about something that's a benefit to people. It's not, again, it's not just about like vanity, like here I am, and you see those posts too, like women in their bikinis and whatever. And it's like part of you wants to be like, okay, you look great, good for you. But also, why do you need to do that? Why are you
Yeah,
doing that? What's
because for
behind it?
me, well, because it's like I'm not an like actor, even though I admit I like to be front and center, I like to be front and center to elevate and improve people's lives. So I don't
Yeah.
have to be like the superstar. It's all about me. I like to be that guinea pig, if you will, to show that you can do this too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, that definitely comes through. Like, then the bra thing was like, this is comfortable. It looks pretty. And it was like, it was helpful. It wasn't,
yeah,
it
thank you.
wasn't
And it's a
like
freaking
narcissistic.
phenomenal bra. It is a
Okay.
Like, it's some technology that molds with you and moves with you. It's so comfortable, like and, like, that was one I wasn't paid for, Like, it's
Right.
a great bra.
Oh, interesting. Okay, but then do you go back to them and you're like, hey, I got this many likes on this post.
They can see that. They can see it.
Hmm.
They can see that, and, I mean, and when I do collaborations, sometimes they want back-end analytics so they can see a little deeper dive and who's clicking and percentages and all that, and some of them want that, some of that don't, or they just look at the engagement. Sometimes they give me a promo code, it's
Mm,
all different ways. Like, some brands just want to build their or they just want followers, it's
yeah.
all different things.
Awesome.
So,
Well, mid MLFers, go follow Romy Raves on Facebook and on Instagram because Romy's content is actually helpful, and interesting and fun. So I think you definitely want to go add that to your midlife mix. And I just thank you for being here today. I was nervous not to have my wingman. And I actually was, to be perfectly honest, I was like nervous to reach out to you because we are new friends, but I figured, what the fuck? I'm so glad
absolutely.
you're here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Nice to meet everybody. And feel free to find me at Romy Raves on Instagram and for all your midlife recommendations.
Absolutely. All right. And also, you need to text me where we're going on Saturday night. I'm looking forward to it.
I will.
All right.